All right, welcome to another episode of the Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast. Got Tyler McGurk down below there in the looks like the new Spiffy Cowl shirt. Casey up top with the guns showing. Me freezing in my garage here. Gentlemen, how we doing? Tyler, what's up?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Casey, how we doing?
Doing fabulous, man. Ready for this. About done with the run. Warriors on fire. Let's keep it rolling, man. It'll be a good podcast.
We will definitely get into the Warriors as well here. Yesterday, though, was a good day for the family here, though. My son at soccer game, 3 goals, first hat trick. That was pretty fun to see, especially because he came so far from the beginning, not knowing even what to do. So it was good to see, as Tyler calls him, Chavi, live up to the name and get 3 goals there yesterday.
Did you throw your hat on the field as a coach?
I should have if I had one. I should have threw it out.
I did. I threw it out.
Yeah. I must have missed that, but yes, sure. Casey did point it out though amongst the crowd, so it was good though. So that was a good game yesterday. It was funny with Derek too. He was like my assistant coach there, but he's kind of like an announcer during these like little league games. Like he kind of gets into it a little bit. He's like, "Come on, Kate! No!" Like there was one time the ball was like rolling like really slowly towards the goal. And he's like, "Somebody stop it. Somebody stop it." And he's like, "No." And then it hits the side post. He's like, "Yes."
I could just picture him over there.
It was just great because here he is just yelling and screaming like a grown adult over there at like 9 years old next to me. Basically,
I kind of wonder where he gets it from.
Yeah, probably from me.
The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, my friend.
I know. That's what I was thinking. He's like a little mini me there at that stuff. So that was funny yesterday, but we wrapped it up, had a team party and all that. So all dads know how that goes with the if you've coached a city team or a little league team, the end of the year and all that good stuff. So
you better bring a Ziploc full of quarters.
Yes, they did. They were all fired up for the games. There was about 9 stuffed animals won.
As the coach, did you get to give away awards, or did you just stick it to everybody? Was great.
The league provided like you pay for like these medals with their name on the back of it. So I did that, said a short little something about each player and that kind of deal. So yeah, that was fun doing that yesterday. I did get to check out a little bit of some sports though too in the evening more. So I kind of watched, like you, Tyler, we were texting a little bit about that the Ole Miss Texas A&M game that ended up being Ole Miss pulled away a little bit at the end there. And then you pointed out on Twitter, very, very clean jerseys. Those are very nice. Very nice.
They're so much better than those Eli Manning navy blue ones or the Patrick Willis ones.
Or the red ones.
Light powder blue. Yeah. That light powder blue is clean.
I think anytime you go powder blue, you're not really, for the most part, if you don't do it too often, or even if you do it too often, it's not the worst color in the world. I was watching a little bit of the Kansas Texas game randomly. That game ended up being crazy. It's the first time Kansas has like ever won a game in Texas. Like I know they've always stunk at football, but it ended up being a good game. But I guess Casey disappeared on us there.
Casey said, "Screw this, I'm out."
But then I also was watching the Gonzaga Texas basketball game because I wanted to check out the tall skinny guy. What's it?
Holmgren.
Yeah, what's his first name though? I always forget. Chet. I was not too impressed last night. He was very timid on the floor last night.
I agree. Your boy Timmy had a day.
Yeah, and let's be clear about Timmy. I'm not so sure about his NBA prospects, but from a college basketball standpoint, he's like a Hansbrough. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure he's not going to be a very good pro.
Yeah, he might struggle a little bit there. But because he's defensively, and you saw last year in Baylor when they put more big athletic guys on him, he couldn't post up quite as easy as he could before. So yeah. So with that said, why don't we take a quick little break here? We'll be back with some NBA here, and then we're going to get into a lot of different segments today. We got NBA on tap, we got NFL on tap. We're going to go old school, Tyler. We're going to go bring back our let's go for 2 segment here.
Nice
run segment ready to go for us. I got hot for NBA, and then we're gonna at the very end we'll kind of get your takes on Buster Posey retiring.
Casey's calling me. Should I answer this while we're filming? Or
yeah, go ahead. We can answer.
I did. Take it. Yeah. All right. We'll take a break and we'll figure it out.
We'll take a break. We'll get Casey back on here hopefully, and then we'll get going with the rest of it. All right, we're back here on the Fatboy FadeAway Sports. Let's get into the NBA, gentlemen. Here,
what a 2 weeks.
We're gonna do hot and cold. 3 hot, 3 cold from the week of the NBA here. And let's start with the first hot topic of the week. Warriors 11-1 start. Just playing impressive basketball. Let's say what it is. It's not they're not just barely beating teams. They're looking really good while they're doing it as well. They're starting to rack up those 30 assist games again. Curry's starting to heat up again. Tyler, Draymond's even starting to kind of play old school Draymond again. Maybe we can get into that a little bit here, get your take on that. And they're all turning it over again. That's what they do best.
The first quarter, there's always 7+ turnovers.
They played their best. They're always turning it over. So let's start with you, Casey. The Warriors, 11-1 start. Like we said, playing good basketball. Where do you see what's kind of surprising you? What's standing out here with the early start?
Really no surprises, to be honest. I thought that'd be a top team. They came out the gates, on fire. The only loss they've had, which was in overtime, was against Memphis. And, they're a great team. I think they're a good team.
I think they were up by like 18 in that game, too.
Yeah, Ja Morant happened. Ja happens. But, they've been playing really well. Cohesiveness with the team, man. The ball movement, the man movement, everything is fun to watch. It's they got a lot of collective guys that are playing together. Me and Tyler spoke about that in the beginning of this year's. They're so deep with Andre, Bielitsa, Otto Porter, Juan Toscano Anderson, Gary Payton II. Like, everyone's contributing right now. And
even Kuminga had some plays the other night.
Kuminga got a little minutes, last night or the other night, and they're just playing really well. Steph Curry, he's Steph Curry. He does what he does. He had 90 points the last 2 games.
He's the early MVP favorite.
It makes it look so easy, too. He has 36 games where he's had 9 3-pointers. The next closest is like 9. Like, that's insane. Like, that ain't right. Like, that ain't right, man. But it's a pleasure to watch. I think we are truly spoiled here in the Bay Area. Like, we had so many bad years of basketball. Like, I think we're like starting to undervalue how good this team is. And when you have 3 future Hall of Famers like on the same team, and one's not even playing right now, and they have the best record in the NBA, speaks volumes. It's a fun thing to watch.
Yeah, it's a great timeout era was not the best era.
Not a great timeout. I remember the funniest thing is Tim Roy during that era, like, and the great timeout loses again.
Tyler, I thought you might appreciate this stat because Looney the other night got 17 points and 12 rebounds. He said he was the first center to do it since Eric Dampier. I thought that was funny.
Surprised Mark Jackson never did.
I like the depth part of the Warriors, Tyler. Let's get your thoughts on it as well. I wanted to also point out Wiggins. He's been playing. He's just in the role that's perfect. He's in a better version of, like, I guess him and Barnes are just very equal in that area. They're just, but you know what I mean. But I would say Wiggins is even a slightly better offensive player one-on-one. So I feel like they have a little better version of Barnes in some ways, and now a smarter version of even Green and Curry in some ways, not with the turnover. So what's your thoughts here on the Warriors?
I think it shows how much like depth matters when you replace Oubre, Bazemore with like the likes of Iggy and Bielitsa and Otto Porter and guys who've been in the league who can shoot from over 40% from 3-point range and keep the spacing, where Oubre was just a brick waiting to happen, and Bazemore was a brick waiting to happen. You couldn't trust him with the corners even. So now you have these great shooters, and then you have Curry just getting all this space where it's hard to double off him without leaving a good open shooter.
And once they get, you're hoping once they get like the big man back, Wiseman, and then Clay spacing it out, those lobs will be there a lot more too, like they used to get with McGee and all those guys. You know what I mean? So that's what you're hoping, that will be like the next like evolution of their offense a little bit.
And I left out 2 key players. Jordan Poole looks like a whole nother player. Damian Lee's been really good. Like, they have so many players. It's pretty crazy to watch how deep they are. Like, they literally have like a second team that can come in and not only stay the course, but do even better than the others.
You know who I like that I thought might not be that good this year is Iguodala. That's who I continue to like. Man, he's just like he's steady.
Yeah, I saw some stat with Iguodala where their 5 best lineups all have him involved.
No shock. No shock. He knows that system so well too. Like it's natural. It's perfect for him. All right, let's move on here to like not here, and that's me and my early predictions with the Warriors. I was definitely not hot with that. They just were. I just didn't expect the depth to play out the way it was, like you said, Casey. I thought they would be 5 and 6 or something to start out of the gate. I did think their schedule was a little easier when I looked at it a little bit later. I was like, yeah, that was probably not a good call on my part. And they have lived up to an easier schedule, but you're supposed to win those if you're, you know what I mean? You're supposed to win those games, and they're winning them handily. So I can't say anything about it. I think the thing that surprised me was the depth. That's for me. I was not expecting Lee to have a good year. Poole has made a big jump, like you said. And they've got Looney back, and Looney's playing well. And Green and Curry look more than rejuvenated. Green to me just looks, Tyler, he looks better, right? I mean, he's playing smarter. He took what did they say, 11 threes on the year. He's 4 for 11, I think. He's not, and even when he's driving, he's occasionally taking a runner here or there. He airballed one the other night, but he took it. You know what I mean? So you got to be happy with the way he's playing too.
Oh yeah, against the Bulls, they were having trouble in the first quarter or first half or beginning of the second quarter, and they were down by 8. And Draymond just took a rebound and took it coast to coast and got a layup, and that's what the Draymond they need. The guy who pushes the tempo and can finish at the rim, not the guy who's passing open layups for threes out to Oubre. And it's just a different team, and he's playing and he's taking shots. It's not 2 attempts a night.
They do.
Yeah, the Warriors are the slowest team to get out the gates. I mean, the first quarter they look like they're running through mud, but the third quarter comes. Whatever happens through whatever that halftime, they're the best team in the league.
They do have
it. Come out and the Bulls, it looked like 2 different teams playing. The first half was okay, we're close, almost a tie game, and then it's before the third quarter gets done, they're up by 20. It's what the hell happened?
Well, I think you said it, stuck in mud. Their offense is very, it's very predictable. And if they're not shooting well, they have a lot of grinders on defense. I was impressed with their defense, no doubt, in the first quarter. They were really moving. It's too bad they don't have Patterson in. I'm sure Vucevic definitely gives them a better look on offense. They can at least go to him in the post if they don't have anything going at the end of the shot clock. They really only had Levine, and DeRozan was terrible the other night. So, other than getting to the free throw line.
Can the Bulls even play Vucevic against the Warriors though? With if you get him switched on to anybody.
Speaking of Bulls, though, the hot is from the Bulls and Wizards. So that's my second hot take here. Is I got the Bulls and the Wizards. They're really surprising me. Let's kind of continue here with our Bulls take, and let's add the Wizards into that as well. Let's continue what you were saying with the Bulls there, though. First, though, Tyler, but. I don't think they can continue that. That's not a playoff offense right now. To me, they can't win that against it. They can't get out of the second round, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think they can make the playoffs. Levine's special. I think he's actually really good.
Yeah.
He's better than I ever thought he'd be. DeRozan played terrible, but he can get to the free throw line, or at least he could before playing the Warriors. The Warriors have a great defense. Not great, but good.
They're playing not great. They're number 1 in defense. They're number 1 in every category in defense.
But they look at the offensive rebounding that other teams get. There's flaws in there.
It'll be tough. They'll be tough to beat the teams that can score a little bit more when it comes to crunch time.
To speak on the Wizards, I was very, very, very wrong about that because I said in the beginning of the year the most unwatchable team would be the Wizards. And I was very wrong about that. They're actually playing really good basketball. Really good. I kind of forgot all the trades with Kuzma, all the Lakers that came over with KCP. And not to short the Bulls because they're having a hell of a season so far. But yeah, no, I was very, very wrong on the Wizards. They look actually like a pretty decent team in the East.
They got a lot of kind of veterans they added in, Pope and Kuzma and some guys that are motivated, I think, a little bit to get a chance. We'll see how that plays out. That's one of those teams where I'm I want to see but they're the 1 seed right now. They're the 9-3 start.
Who do you think has a better chance of sustaining this start? Not the same start, but keep making the playoffs.
I kind of want to say the Wizards because I think I just kind of think but at the same time, like I can't really trust the Wizards a little bit more because DeRozan and Levine are, I would say, the two better players, right, than those guys. So I don't know, but I kind of
Beal's
like,
good.
but exactly, that's kind of where I'm like, I kind of like the Wizards possibly on that call there. So
did you guys see that game where the Wizards were playing and right before half, Bradley Beal missed like 2 layups and it cost like 75% of Vegas money? And it was like the over-under before halftime, and he missed 2 layups. And it was like, man, that's so rough. Like, that's why I never bet. But, man, dude, that had to be so heartbreaking. I couldn't imagine that.
The Wizards also have a lot of guards that can, like, create their own shot, like Dinwiddie. And then they got Harrell, who to me is when he's on, like, playing hard and stuff, he can be kind of a pain to kind of, guard and be around the basket a little bit. And they got Kuzma, who can shoot threes. And I like how Bertans, who's like one of their most expensive players, plays like 15 minutes a game now. So they move on from that. All right, let's get to the next.
Hold on Harrell. Isn't Harrell such a weird play? Like he went from 6th man of the year basically in LA. Then he went to the other LA team. Wasn't even playable. And now he's like has the 6th highest player efficiency rating this year.
I think he's always been a good player. I think he just needs that. I just think that wasn't a good fit for him with the Lakers a little bit. He kind of needs more of an open offense where he can be kind of a scrapper, I feel like, a little bit more. Does that make, you know what I mean? Like where he can be more
Kenneth Curry
rebounds. Yeah. I think that's a good fit for him with the Wizards. You can just, there's no expectation really in that sense with him.
Just run.
He gets to kind of just play his game. Not hot. I got Damian Lillard. He's not living up to his name this year so far. I'm pretty sure we're all thinking he's going to turn it around, but right now he's just not off to the start. He's only averaging 20 points a game. Last year he averaged 28. You figure he's going to definitely pick that up, but right now 8 assists, only on 38% shooting, 26% from 3-point range, which is probably the real shocker there. And he's only taking 3.5 free throws a game. And to me, this is where he really is now. You're starting to get frustrated. The officials now are starting to be a topic of his. He said this the other day regarding the rule changes. He said, I feel like the way the game is being officiated, it's unacceptable. I don't want to go too deep into it. To say they make a big deal out of it, but the explanations, the beep that is getting missed. I mean, come on. I feel like coming in, the rule change wouldn't affect me because I don't do the tricks. I don't do the trick to the referees. I do not do the trick plays, and it's just unacceptable. Then the explanations and the remarks in return when you tell them is just like, I don't even have anything else to say about it. And so, like, to me, when I'm reading those comments on top of the way he's played, that sounds like a frustrated player right now in terms of not getting the success he usually has on the court, and he's not being rewarded with it right now. So, Tyler, what's your take on Lillard here and his shooting start?
I think it'll be fine. I feel like the take's more on the reffing, and it just like goes to show like how great Durant and Curry and the guys who never relied on that stuff. And like, because I've seen Damian Lillard do that crap behind the 3-point line all the time, where he jumps into people. And so to say he doesn't do it to Harden like type levels, but he still does it. But he'll be fine. He's a great player. He's going to find his stroke at some point. I remember they said the same thing about Clay, his last healthy year. He had a terrible first month, and then he ended up shooting just fine. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
To me, Lillard, he's a great player. Tyler touched on it. I mean, he's an amazing all-world talent. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to figure it out. But he's struggling. He's got a new coach, new offense, different things going on. I don't know if he fully wants to be there. He says he wants to be there, but honestly, I don't know. I mean, Trailblazers, they've been doing the same thing. It's like deja vu for the last 5 years. I mean, they made the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors, but we all knew they had no chance of winning that.
Doesn't he feel, Casey, like the next player to go, like kind of superstar? He feels like I don't know. It just kind of, it's feeling like the time's running out based on their GM, like the way that whole situation went with the the misconduct at work. They're investigating now, people resigning. Billups, poor Chauncey Billups is getting thrown into this mix. But we'll see. I don't know.
I feel like Lillard's like McCollum is his buddy. He's his boy. He loves him to death. But he needs someone like Clay. I mean, you're not going to find a top 5 shooter of all time, but he needs someone that's not like him. Like, he needs a guy that's 6'7", 6'8" as his wingman. He can't play with the 6'4" guy. They're the same position in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they do different things, but they're both scorers. One
Hey,
of them
has
to play defense. Like one of them has to play defense.
It's similar to having Monte and Curry together when they were together.
Very much so. That's actually
doesn't work.
Good. That's really good, Tyler. That's pretty much what it is. You're right. Spot on.
DeRozan would have been a decent signing for them. Kind of looking back at it.
Yeah, that would be a good fit.
That might have been a bad look there. Ben Simmons is the guy they got to try to get. They need somebody that can help play defense on somebody, that a little bit more and can take somebody off the ball. That's where he needs to go. To me, that just seems like the fresh start spot. That franchise is them or the Kings. That's where that land at.
Dude, how much is the Blazers? Like,
why
did we get rid of Jokic? Why over Nurkic? Come on.
All right, a couple more here. Hot.
No one got rid of Jokic.
Well, hold on. Let's get into Jokic here. Nobody got rid of Jokic. They got rid of the Nuggets. Got rid of the other guy. Yeah. All right, Hot. Jokic, Morris. Let's get into that. The shove. Tyler, who do you got? The brothers, or you got Morris twins?
No, I got the brothers. They're like the Klitschko's.
They grew up in the war zone. You grew up in a war zone. You got to take it. Jason, who you got?
I'm taking Jokic, man. Where they from? They be dropping bombs, bro. Come on now. This is America. We do soft over here. I'm gonna lie. Over there in Russia, come on now. They drink vodka for breakfast. Like they pour that shit in cereal. Like
what are they're Serbia or Eastern Europe there. They look like they different level there. Maybe not a little screw loose, crazy there, a little nuts. The play itself, I did think more is kind of did give a little cheap shot there at the beginning. When I first watched it, then obviously Jokic delivered the final blow there, the final cheap shot. But you hit somebody. Sometimes you got it. It's probably not smart to turn your back like that. First of all,
Shaq said, "Yeah, you hit me like that. You better expect me to come back at you. I don't know why you're turning your head."
And that always brings up the best replay when he misses Brad Miller when he's swinging. He gets mad at Brad Miller. It's like, and I always
the ultimate haymaker.
You could hit a still target. You could.
I mean, don't you think Morris deserved it? I'm not saying what he did, like hit him from the back was right, but he definitely had it coming. Like that's not a take foul with 2.5 down by like 17 with that time. Like that's a cheap shot. One was cheap, one was dirty. I give you that, but like he had it coming. Like he turned around like it was nothing. Like I'll hit him like he's a bitch. Like it's no problem. Like Jokic ain't gonna do nothing to me. Jokic like he got like that red dog that face. He's like, oh hell no. Like
he did. He did not want any part of that.
Jokic is a big boy too. Like that. I mean, he's 7 feet, like 260 plus. I mean, that ain't no small boy. So, like, when Morris did, he looked at him like, whatever, man, it's cool. Jokic's like, hell no, I ain't gonna play that.
And then what happened last year? Booker, right, Tyler? He did something with Booker last year. It wasn't. I don't think I did.
In the playoffs?
Yeah, I remember he got ejected.
Yeah, they were like fighting over the ball or something.
Yeah, something like that. He slapped him or something. All right, the final one here, and we'll move on. I got not. The Grizzlies are off to they were off to a good start. Now they've lost I think 4 out of their last 5 here. Lost 3 in a row, and then the cherry on top yesterday, they lose to the Pelicans by 11, I believe it was. So they're kind of struggling right now. They're opposite of the Wizards and Bulls at the moment in the Western Conference. They're still in the 9th seed there, which gets you in the play-in game nowadays. But I also wanted to throw a bonus one in there, the Marvin Bagley situation with the Kings, not subbing in. I don't want to say that, I don't want to put all the blame on Bagley, but from my initial instinct, it's kind of like, man, you should just want to play in the game. But I do know that it's just the burn is bridged in that relationship. I mean, the Kings don't have the reputation where I'm like, well, it's all his fault. Like, you know what I mean? That's just not where I'm at with it. So I do think they need a new start. I hear Detroit might be a good landing spot. I think that would be a good spot for him. Just kind of start with it. Anytime you're playing with the number 1 pick and he's a guard, that could possibly give you lobs and passes, is probably not the worst spot to go. So I think if he could somehow get himself to Detroit, he would probably make out pretty well in that situation.
You're one of the first people that says, let's go to Detroit.
Well, I don't know. Let's
fix our problems and go to Detroit.
But the Kings themselves are not playing very good basketball again, and that's not shocking. But we'll see. I do like Mitchell. He is playing well.
There's a couple
better
things
than I thought offensively.
There's a couple things you kind of glossed over a little bit, but I think Memphis is struggling because Dylan Brooks isn't in the lineup, and he's a big.
He came back last night.
I'm just saying, like, he's a big key to their team. Like, he's one of their defensive stoppers. Puts up probably like 15 a game. But yeah, that's one of the struggles I think Memphis has going on. And then to touch on the Kings with Bagley, it is what it is. I mean, the Kings been relevant since like Chris Webber and Vlade Divac. I mean, they kind of went through like the Warriors. Like
they're at a 17-year drought right now, Case.
It's
probably about to be
a 20-year stretch. Is that ownership? Probably. Is that like players and drafting? Absolutely. But when a player doesn't want to go in, that's probably like beyond the scenes. Like it's got to go beyond basketball. Like, yeah, like I don't want to play. Like in high school, college, whatever. It's like you want to play because you want to play, but obviously there's something more than what's going on.
His dad even last year was was bringing it up when he wasn't playing in the game. So it's gone deeper than that. Tyler, on the Grizzlies, real quick, I'll get your take on them, and we'll get out of here to a different topic here. The Grizzlies, it's the shooting again. They don't shoot right now. When they don't shoot well from three, that's when they're going to struggle a little bit. What do you think of those two topics?
For the Grizzlies, I don't get why they traded Valanciunas for Steven Adams. It just doesn't make any sense. Valanciunas is a way more skilled, talented player than Steven Adams. Maybe Steven Adams gives you some toughness or something, but I don't know. They have that court spreading center and a guy who you can throw the ball into and get you an easy bucket against smaller, like against the Warriors. Like Steven Adams is a non-factor. Valanciunas could kill us.
Yeah, no, you're right. And he's kind of wasted away there on the Pelicans.
What are you doing with that golf club, Lead Woods? But
don't go Tiger on us. Come on now, chill out, bro.
But as far as the Kings, I'd give it up on Bagley. I don't think there's anywhere he's going. I just don't think he's going to be a player in the NBA.
Yeah, it's looking that way for him, unfortunately. But he's only 22. We'll see what happens. He's always hurt. That's the issue too with him. It always seems every 10 games he's coming down with an injury. So a lot there in the NBA. It's been 2 weeks since we talked about it. Last week we just did the NFL podcast, so a lot to get into this week. We'll see. This week the Warriors got 4-game stretch, and we'll be talking about this week. They're on the road. They got Charlotte, Brooklyn, Detroit, and Cleveland. So I'm expecting a 3-1 road trip. That's what I would expect there. I think we're all expecting the loss to Brooklyn possibly there.
Before we let out, the Lakers look really good. Westbrook looks really good, guys.
I don't know. And then they get crushed by the Timberwolves.
I love how they lost to OKC twice.
That is true on that one as well. All right, let's take a break there at the NBA. We'll be back with the NFL. Take a look at some of the games this week, and then we'll get into the Raiders Chiefs a little bit Sunday night here. All right, we'll be back. All right, we're back here. Fatboy FadeAway Sports NFL part of our podcast this week. With joining me again, Tyler McGurk, and we got Casey Breyer here. All right, gentlemen, NFL this week. Let's kind of bring back some old school segments here a little bit. All right, we're gonna start out with the dump and run segment. That was where we used to ask 3 questions, 3 topics from the week that we kind of find interesting. Tyler, let's kind of start with you in the Gruden situation. You kind of brought that up to me. You kind of wanted to talk about that and like him suing the NFL now, and how the NFL, maybe he didn't handle that the best way. Go ahead.
I just think it's a very smart move by Gruden. He's going to get another payout, because let's be real, the NFL is it's a trash league now. Like, not in the play and how it is, but the penalties and how they handle their business is just trash.
It's not consistent.
They do these things that just are like short term, and they don't look to the long, like how it's going to affect things later. Like, they're not Gruden suing him for publicly sabotaging his career, and he said it was a Soviet style character assassination, and he's going to want he wants all those emails leaked, and the NFL is not going to allow all these emails leaked because it would get hundreds of people fired.
Oh yeah, and
it's just so they're going to probably, I think, just settle, and he's going to get a fat paycheck.
Oh, the owners, there's there'd be so many owners that would be dug into this thing. There'd be lawsuits for eventually. I feel like that stuff could get out though. It kind of has a way.
Yeah, eventually it's gonna. I mean, some hacker's gonna find a way to get to it.
It's gonna be, that's the thing I kind of think with it.
I mean, the NFL is a very mafia-like run organization. Like, if they don't want to get out, they will not let it out, and they have head.
That's not true.
People. Yeah,
but everything gets out in the mafia eventually too.
Yeah, but they let it out because they want it to be let out. Like, there's you put.
I don't think they wanted that Ray Rice thing let out when that happened. I don't think they want. I don't think that. I don't think they wanted that stuff brought out.
Obviously, those are things that you can't prevent. Obviously.
Well, that's kind of
eventually a hacker will get into this. You can't prevent anything nowadays.
You have 32 people that are 32 billionaires, basically. So what do you guys think, that they're going to let these emails out for no reason? I agree with you, though. John Gruden is going to get his money. Absolutely.
And that's more so, Tyler, because the NFL handled it poorly, right? Like, in terms of the way they kind of let it out, or because I heard that John Gruden knew and the Raiders knew about this 8 months ago.
I think it's because he lost his job and he's like, I didn't say anything no one else said. Like, which isn't okay, but it's just not no one else said. Anyone in the NFL, I don't think had some of these similar comments.
And what if they did know about it 8 months ago? That kind of makes it even more, more like kind of like, why did this? You're right. Then if they knew about this 8 months ago, there's so many more emails out there that are just, there's something there. So we'll see what happens. And they threw a little bone with that, like, John Pash thing with, like, Allen, but it wasn't much. He was like the director of the NFL. And they kind of threw a little bone out with that. We're like, oh, this, they had these emails here, but that guy still has his job and he's still working in the NFL. So I don't know. You're right. Kind of just a dirty situation altogether there. The Washington football team isn't even the main story. And that's what the emails came from. So, all right. Number 2 on the dump and run here. Go ahead, Tyler. No, finish.
And that's the thing. The whole Washington football team, like all these emails they looked into these emails because of all this sexual harassment, like paying cheerleaders to like pleasure men and stuff. It's just it just doesn't make sense how Gruden should be fired for what he did.
Yeah.
But these people who are running Washington, Daniel Snyder, shouldn't own the team anymore. Like, they should do it. Go ahead.
And that's the thing, Tyler, where I'm getting mafia. So the NFL's like, Daniel Snyder, you can't do this, you can't do that. Oh, just give the team to my wife. Well, who the hell does he hang out with every single day? His wife. Where do you think the information's coming from? She didn't notice. Come on now. We ain't dumb. You're hanging out with your wife. You've been with her for this long. Obviously, there's communication going on. So,
wasn't there Mr. Kraft involved in something like
you can find me this amount of money and this and that, but at the end of the day, that's your wife. You living with her, so how far is that punishing you? That's a joke. That's like a slap on the wrist. That's no problem.
It's nothing. It's still in the family.
And if we can talk about the second thing I have where the NFL is very inconsistent. So the second thing on my dump and run segment is the Rodgers-Packers situation here with the fines let out. The Packers fined $300,000, and I believe Aaron Rodgers fined $14,000, which I find to be a hilarious amount. I don't know, just a pocket change number for a superstar quarterback like him. And then what was it? CeeDee Lamb came out with some quotes where he was like, "I'm confused." I think he got like a couple violations for uniforms, and he got $20,000 fine. And I'm like, yeah, that right there makes no sense. You know what I mean? Like, the consistency of the NFL, the consistency of their calls on the field, the interpretation of these calls, and then the interpretation with these fines with Rodgers and the Packers. It's just very confusing, and it doesn't make for a very consistent league at times. And that's kind of what you're speaking to, Tyler, I think, when you say trash at times.
Yes.
So
is it
Rodgers and Casey just not looking good there?
Is this white privilege on the quarterback? Everything that has to go on, I don't get it, man. How do you get fined for high knee socks more than a COVID situation? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, it was the MVP last year, face of the league, everything going on in the NFL. I don't it's very frustrating to me. It's just I don't understand. So you can lie and lie and lie, but this guy gets fined for wearing high socks or low socks or a uniform policy more than a COVID situation that has killed almost 750,000 people, over 750,000. And now, because you're wearing socks a different way, Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, that's why I always say NFL is just, they do whatever the hell they want, whenever they want, however they want. And it's very frustrating to me because it's like Aaron Rodgers has been part of this organization of the NFL, and they don't give a damn what you do. But if you just show up on Sunday and play well, they don't give a damn. It's all good.
Well, I slightly disagree with some of that, but I think you're right with most of the takes on that stuff there. But I think with I also think with the Packers and the NFL situation, I think it also just comes down to a little bit more like you said, like who they know who their best players are in these situations. And like who's going to be the best player there. So I don't know, Tyler. Any final takes on it?
Yeah, we saw what the Packers looked like with Jordan Love, and I don't think the NFL wants to put that on TV if they have a choice.
That's not going to suit their suit the expectations very well there. Yeah, so the NFL like not looking good there at all in that situation. All right, last thing, real quick here. Odell Beckham to the Rams. They kind of load up, and then Woods goes down with an ACL injury. So it kind of, I guess, worked out well in the sense of timing that way. I wonder if he knew about it before he got there. Probably not. But so he goes to the Rams. That definitely helps them, you would think, a little bit. But sometimes he can be bad luck, as you can tell, the ACL injury as well. So, we'll see. Odell's kind of one of those players where you kind of feel like his name hasn't necessarily lived up to the hype as much. So we'll see there. Any thoughts on that, Tyler, going to your division rival there?
I just look at it and I go, why the hell do the Niners get rid of DeForest Buckner? What are we doing with our salary cap where we can't hold on to guys, but all these other teams like Chiefs and the Rams just add guys like there's no salary cap and they just look like the New York Yankees in the late 90s, early 2000s. And
we're they're definitely not played by the same rules.
Yeah, we're getting rid of like a top 3 defensive tackle who makes our edge rushers twice as good, and our defense just because he takes up a double team or lets Fred Warner be a better middle linebacker. It's just discouraging to see. Like, you have to get rid of your best player while these guys are adding Von Miller and Odell Beckham in the middle of the season.
How do you think Odell does for the Rams, though, overall? Do you think he fits in well? Do you think he's going to be
I think he's going to be great. I think he might have a Randy Moss rejuvenation type thing. And
good play caller, better quarterback.
He's going to a great quarterback and a great offensive play caller. And with Robert Woods getting hurt, who knows?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our dump and run segment there. Let's jump to our let's go for 2 segment that we like to do in the NFL here. This is old school here. We picked 2 games from the week. It's pretty easy this week. There's not a whole lot of great games this week. So let's start with the first one here. Casey, Browns at Patriots. It's going to have playoff implications down the line. It might not be the most talented filled game today, but they're both 5-4. If it comes down to a last spot or whatever seeding down the line, it could be a good game. Mac Jones is definitely doing better than I think we all expected. He's game managing himself to wins here. Bills type of quarterback, you feel like. And then their defense is, again, playing well. I've had them in fantasy football recently. Nobody cares, but they're dominating there as well. So they're helping me in that situation as well. The Browns, they're out there. Their 2 running backs. Hunt's been out. Chubb's out now with COVID. And so Baker, big game for him to step up. We'll see. What do you think? Browns, Patriots, who you got?
I do have the Browns in this one. Dearness Johnson actually stepped in really nice. That the last time Chubb was out, he had like over $130, $140, had a touchdown. He looks like he knows what he's doing out there. But Baker, you're right, it is on his shoulders. So this is a big game for the Browns. I think they're 4-4 right now. So go 5-4, keep pace with the division. I like what the Patriots are doing. They're doing their thing, but
you were hard on them last week. Last time we talked, you said they had no chance.
I think they're going to make the playoffs. Like, that's a joke. I mean, come on now. I already told you the division's poop. Like, they're
you started to be too nice there for me, so I wasn't sure where you were going.
Yeah. Trying to be a little generous because I got some haterade, coming from different angles here. So I was trying to be nice. But, no, I think the Browns are actually going to win this one. I think they got a good run game. Baker's going to, like I told you.
They usually have a good run game, but the run game's not there today. You think that?
Yeah, but Ernest Johnson stepped up last time, so their offensive line is really good. So I don't think it's going to make a difference who they play.
All right. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate a little bit. Tyler, who do you got?
Well, this one's a tough one. I don't trust Baker And I trust Bill Belichick's defense, but I can't pick the Patriots because I just am in too deep saying how much
They'll go
they suck.
6-4. They're playoff.
I mean, people talking about Mac Jones playing so great. First off, let's hit the brakes a little bit. Jalen Hurts is doing just as good, and people are saying he can't throw a football. So, like, there's some, but I think I'm going to take the Browns. But still, I hopefully Myles Garrett gets payback for Brian Burns' little ankle twist by Mac Jones and he rips his head off.
Yeah, I think that's probably the Browns seem like the good call on that one, but I think I'm going to go with the Patriots to win this one. I think I'm going to go opposite with you guys on this one. I think I just like the way their defense is playing, and without Chubb and Hunt, Bill has a way of like double team. He'll be able to double team certain guys, and I don't know. Like you said, Baker. It's like I got to see it on the road at the
The
Patriots.
Browns are better without Odell.
If their
They're
defense
better.
steps up, maybe that's where they get something right there. So we'll see. All right.
If I was
game.
not being biased, I think I would take the Patriots as well.
That you would take. All right, Adam. Adam's probably smiling down because of that comment. All right, let's go second game here. Let's go for two. The primetime game tonight, Raiders at Chiefs. Both teams come in, I think, with the same. No, I think the Raiders are 5-3 and the Chiefs are 5-4 there. 520 NBC. Raiders come off a tough game last week at the Giants, losing to the Daniels over there. The Daniels Sons, you cannot lose to the Daniels Sons, and they did in just Raider fashion. Chiefs are just, I don't know what to say more than just scratching and clawing their way to some wins recently. They held on against the loveless Packers, and and there was no love that night. There was no love, and their defense has been terrible. But I don't know, Tyler, who do you like? Raiders, Chiefs?
I like the Chiefs. I can't pick the Raiders. Too much drama going on. Losing Ruggs is a bigger loss than they added Jackson, but
he'll play tonight.
But how much of the playbook does he know? And he's still not?
He can run a straight line. He can run a straight line.
We'll see. I'm not betting against Mahomes and Hill and Kelsey.
I kind of like the Raiders tonight, actually. Casey, you're gonna be shocked here. I'm actually taking.
Say that again.
I am taking the Raiders tonight. I'm confident tonight. I think they can win this one. I think the Chiefs are not playing good football. I think the Raiders, sometimes they bounce back after those games against the Daniel Sons. And I'm going to take I'm going to take the Raiders tonight. I don't know, call it a feeling. Maybe I don't have as good evidence here, but I like Waller against the Chiefs tonight a lot. So I expect Waller to have like 17 targets, maybe one of those crazy games. So if you have Waller in fantasy football today, I expect a big game from him. So who do you think, Raiders, Chiefs?
I got to stay with my Raiders. I love them. I've always been on that bandwagon. I think they're a good team. Last week, they kind of got dirty. It was just a rough week. Daniel kind of did a cheap shot, gave him swept the leg. So I think this week they're going to bounce back. And the Chiefs have been struggling, to be honest. They've been really struggling. The Raiders
5-4 still. It's like they're 2-7.
The Raiders don't have a good run defense, but they do have a good pass defense, and the Chiefs really don't run the ball. I think they play a lot of zone tonight. They don't really match up man-to-man. I think they'll keep everything in front of them. I think they're just going to do a really good job of just containing them. So I could see the Raiders winning 24-20.
How many times does over under 30 million times Chris Collinsworth talks about Max Crosby today? He's going to talk about Max Crosby and Patrick Mahomes underhand throws a lot tonight. We're going to talk about this. Go ahead.
On the Raiders roster, how much was Arnett playing before he got cut?
Not much.
So he wasn't playing very much?
No,
he was injured. He hadn't even played for like the last month.
Yeah, he was out. The Raiders cornerback situation is always a mess, but if they can get the pass rush, that's the way to go. All right, I got parlay of the day. I know you guys aren't into betting as much, but so what I do is I take three underdogs every week. I never take a favorite, just to win flat out. And this year I've done pretty good. I've got 4 weeks out of the 10 right, or out of the 9 right so far. Not to win a whole lot of money, but a decent amount. So these are the underdogs I got today. I'm betting, we'll say a whopping $1 Darren Dad style to win $26 here. So that will make the bank. So you do the math, people, $10, $260, so on and so on. All right. So I got the Lions over the Steelers today. Big Ben out. So they're plus 190. So I'm taking them. This is the biggest risk I got today, plus 310. I got the Falcons beating the Cowboys today. And then I got the Saints beating the Titans today. Because we did have P. Shark on it. He said there's games like this where the Titans do not win. They've been playing good football, and then they throw a clunker at you. And I'm just, the Saints, you're thinking they would not come in well. Kamara's out. And I'm just going to say, I don't know. Jones is now out for the Titans. I'm just kind of, those are the underdogs I'm taking this week in my parlay. So if you want to win $26 for what, get yourself a couple fast food stops there. There you go. Or in California, I can get from here to work twice. That's about right.
The biggest underdog I won this week, I put $1 on your son, get in a hat trick, and I got 4 tacos.
There you
and
go.
A pizza party.
There you go. Pizza party. Did you collect your taco for the World Series? Steal the game.
I went to 3 different Taco Bells actually.
Oh, you're sick. You are sick. People out there.
I got a free meal, baby.
Tyler, any underdog though you got this week? Niners? Can they beat the Rams?
I think they could. I wouldn't be shocked. They own the Rams the last 4 times they played. The Niners have beat them pretty bad, so they seem to have their number. But
you've been okay with Garoppolo.
I mean, I'm just not okay with the whole roster.
You've been saying he's not the problem. It's been the defense. So that tells me that you're okay.
The defense isn't good.
Okay, so that's not a good sign against a good offense. But
no.
You said they own him a little bit. So the other game that I'm kind of maybe just from just kind of interested to see where maybe they fall out is like, what do you guys think of maybe Washington beating Tampa? Is there any chance of that happening? I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know. That was my other one where I was like, just a big upset where I could see that happening. So we'll see there.
I actually do because Gronk's out. They're missing another wide receiver. I think Scotty Lillard might come. AB's out, so I think they could actually pull that off.
That was kind
Godwin has a hurt foot.
Yeah, so I was like, we'll see what happens there. All right, so NFL segment there. We're going to go a little longer today on the podcast because we had a special kind of retirement here in the Bay Area. We had a Bay Area legend, Buster Posey, retire. So, gentlemen, we'll probably get to week 11. We'll probably do our after hour show there, maybe wrap up the week. But let's take one last break here. We'll get into a little MLB here, mostly just talking about Buster Posey here and his time with the Giants. All right, we'll be back. All right, final segment here on the Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast. We're doing a special, like a little baseball segment, like kind of the old school part of our podcast here, in case, because we like it. And Buster Posey, a legend here in the Bay Area, 3-time world champion for your Giants, announced his retirement last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. I know an important player, obviously, just kind of in you as a fan. You kind of was there during like the heyday of their run there. You're in your early 20s when he's dominating there. Was a top prospect, came up in 2009, made his first appearance there. Benji Molina finally got traded and he took over for Benji there. A good decision there. He came in, won one gold glove thanks to Benji Molina or Yadier Molina for that. But he also the 3-time World Series champion. Tyler, your thoughts on Buster Posey and his time with the Giants?
Let's start from the beginning. When we had the 5th pick in the draft and he was like the number 1 prospect, and I was like, all right, he's going to be gone. And then somehow we got him. And I was like, all right, that's a good draft pick. Let's go. Comes up in 2009 and kind of struggles a little bit and then gets called up for the 2010 season. And the Giants franchise has never been the same since. They actually have been they kind of went through the steroid thing. They'd always lose big games. And with him behind the plate, catching and controlling games, they've won 3 World Series. They've given me my 3, those are my 3 happiest, sports moments in my life.
Before I let you go on, I forgot to mention he also won the Rookie of the Year that year. He was the MVP in 2012, was a batting champ.
I was getting there, Darren.
Oh, sorry. But also continue that.
Well, like Darren just said, he breaks his leg and they win the World Series in 2010. Then he comes back. They're having a good year. He breaks his leg in 2011. And you're like, oh, fudge, is this guy ever going to come back, be the same? Comes back in 2012, he wins the MVP, leads them to another World Series championship. And from there on, it's just like this guy's going to eat for free, drink for free in San Francisco as long as he wants. And he's just the best player San Francisco's seen since Barry Bonds. And it's not really close as far as like a whole career. And I'll forever be thankful for watching his whole career. He's one of the first baseball players I got to see their whole career, like, and have an impact on me. And like, he's someone I'll tell my kids about.
Who was the guy that broke his ankle?
Scott Cousins.
I remember Kruto being pretty hard the next morning on that one right there. What's the one moment that stands out to you the most? The homer off Latos on the Reds? Is there one like moment?
Yeah, probably the grand slam in Game 5 when they were down 2-0 in the series and came back to win that series.
What is that? Was that 10?
No, it was 12.
That was the Romo year, right? Or I always say because you guys always had different closers. Every year.
Yeah. Romo year. Yeah.
Base it off of that.
You could do the closer or the second baseman. Always different second baseman and always different closers.
Yeah, I think he doesn't get enough credit for how he handled the pitching staff, like you said. I think we talked about that stat where he like had the most shutouts by far in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he just was really good at that stuff and an all-around player. You knew as soon as you guys drafted him because he was supposed to be like the top pick, and you got him at the 5th because Scott Boras is his agent. And teams didn't want him, and you guys got him at the 5th pick overall. You knew that was going to be a good play.
You want to? Here's the people who are drafted in front of him: Tim Beckham, Pedro Alvarez, Eric Hosmer, and Brian Mattis.
So Hosmer's the only one, and who's the second?
Alvarez had some success.
Yeah. Do you think Posey is he the second best player to Bonds in the? I'm saying the new generation, Mays, McCovey.
Yeah, since Mays and McCovey, probably.
Yeah. So he's better than Lincecum, Bumgarner. You put him ahead of all those guys. Yeah. So he's the number one guy. Yeah, quite the career there. The A's definitely can never have guys like that because they don't hold on to players like that. They would have been gone after a few years there. So speaking of the A's are rebuilding again, Tyler. Casey, you guys hear about that as well? They're doing the opposite of what your Giants are doing, or what should do this year is spend in the offseason. The A's look like they're falling back to their old roots here, going to tear down the team. Maybe you guys can get Matt Olson.
I would love to have Matt Olson or Chapman or
just take them all.
Give us maybe we can make a trade there. You guys can get Matt Olson and Chapman. We'll get a deal there for you. I don't know. I wanted to also get in real quick with baseball, Tyler, but I wanted to give you a chance if you have anything else on the Giants or Posey there. Anything else to talk about with him?
I just sorry, Tyler. Do you think Buster Posey's a Hall of Famer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because his
as
stats,
a catcher.
His stats.
If you look at catcher's numbers in the Hall of Fame, they're right there with anybody.
Yeah, because I mean, he's got a 302 lifetime batting average, but he only does have like 729 RBIs, which isn't a lot. You know what I mean? And then for like hits, he did have 1,500. So I know he's a 3-time champ, but I was just trying to get your opinion.
No, he's not. He's not. I don't think he's like an automatic first ballot, like 99% vote Hall of Famer, but he'll get in.
Yeah. I was just curious to hear your thoughts on that because his numbers don't look like amazing.
No, they're not mind blowing at all.
Yeah,
for sure. He stopped hitting for like 3 years. He had like 8 home runs one year. It was like, what the hell's going on with this guy?
Well, he did like have over 170 hits like 3 years. So I mean, you could tell he's a ball player when he played. It was weird. Like as the last few years kind of derailed, he got a little, and then he missed the COVID year. But he came back obviously this year.
He came back rested and hit like he was young again.
I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer just for the accolades. I just wanted to hear your opinion, but I think he was amazing during that run, like 3 championships and what Darren touched on, like just being that catcher and calling the games. I mean,
and with him, like he's one of those guys who are like automatic, like he just knew he was a stud because he kind of came in like the Pujols version. Maybe he didn't go. I know he was like I read that he was like 2 for 17 or something. His first kind of part of his first time up, but once he kind of started playing consistently, you're like, all right, this guy was good from day one. So, shout out to him. MLB, I kind of want to get you guys' little thoughts here because it looks like there might be a lockout, kind of starting here in December. The players and the agents, and Scott Boras is the guy. he's like, he's the top agent here in Major League Baseball. And I thought he had some interesting takes on Major League in general. And I kind of wanted to get your take on it real quick, Tyler and Casey. He was referring to the Braves winning the championship. And he was saying that MLB's cancer of trading veterans helped the Braves win. That was the headline here in the article. And he goes on to basically say that, we have seen the championship now with teams with a 60-day stretch. You trade at the end. Teams are trying not to win. They trade all their players, and the team with 86 wins can beat a team that wins 107. And so we're basically watering down, saying that the regular season is nothing. And the way he actually says it is, and we saw this unfold to the detriment of teams that create a vast expense planning and intellect and won over 100 games. In doing all this, we have now created an understanding that a fan would not know who the true team is until, frankly, the trading deadline. So he's kind of calling the MLB out on what he, obviously he's trying to get the players. It helps his players, right? To make money. But he goes, the Atlanta Braves are the Atlanta Braves because tanking teams said, I want to get to the bottom and get those draft picks. So he goes on to kind of say that. He said he's gone on to even say it's created an incentive for the race to the bottom, because now we have half of the major league teams at some point in time during the season being non-competitive, trading off their players, making the game and the season very different than what it was intended to be. And that was having an incentive to win every game that you play in. And to me, that was the thing I took away the most, was the way the game was intended to be. The season's 162 games for a reason. It's intended for teams to try to compete. And if the last 60 games of this year, like, some of the other sports have had issues with, it really does take a big, effect on the season in general. So I'll let you go first, Ty. What did you kind of think of those comments? Do you think he's right about any of this?
I think it's been like that from the beginning, though.
Yeah, he did.
Since I've been watching baseball, the
It
Yankees
seemed
have
like
always
teams
been
tank as much
acquiring.
With the trade.
I feel like they didn't tank that much this year.
You don't think?
No, I don't think getting rid of Jorge Soler is a big deal for the Royals.
Yeah.
Like, we're not giving away. I guess the Nationals did it, giving away Turner. But talking about 100-win teams, look what happened with the Dodgers. They traded for guys. Like, is that different than the Braves winning 86 games and going for it?
So do you think he's trying to make the point for his players, his high players don't get like kind of lowballed in the free agency? Because like, hey, look, this team could win the championship with Austin Riley and Adam.
Exactly.
So he, obviously he's defend. You think that's more where
he just wants to get the biggest contracts for his players as possible.
So I'm just curious if he did think he did have a point at all too.
I think he has a point that teams tank.
Yeah. The Cubs Astros, Casey, seemed to start that, and it worked for him. So a lot of teams kind of followed that tradition there a little bit. So we'll see what baseball can do about it.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, baseball, every sport that you play in, everyone's going to tank. But baseball, I mean, really doesn't matter. Like, if you're a shitty organization, like it doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to make the World Series. Like, you might get lucky like every 10 years. But I mean, look at the A's. I mean, they're like the minor league for everybody.
Well,
I mean, Pittsburgh Pirates, Colorado Rockies, everyone. Like, I mean, think about all the All-Stars they've given away every year. Like, they're just like, here, take them. So, Tyler, to his point, like, Scott Boras is trying to make a case, but it's just to get his players, more money. But in reality, it's been like this forever. Like, the bottom tier organizations are going to be relevant for maybe 3 to 5 years at best, and then they'll move on for another 20 years. The Yankees, the Mets, everyone else will be relevant.
Yeah. I think you guys are probably more lean towards the right way, because usually as an agent, you're always a little sleazy in that way as well too. But I thought he did kind of make a good point though with some of the more teams now unloaded, it felt like this year than before. So I think it felt a little different in that maybe. I think it does take away. I think the part that stinks is, like you said, your team wins 107 games, whatever, and they don't even get a chance to play the team that won the least amount. You know what I mean? I don't know. That I think there's somewhere there's a different. It should be. It feels like it should be a little bit more equal, but it is what it is.
But I don't even get how this quote gets his guys more money. Like,
I don't know either. I don't know. I think you're right. I don't think it does. So we'll see if a strike come in there. We'll see, where baseball ends up. I mean, to me, it's crazy they have a strike. Their guys just get paid money. And but I know there's a lot of areas in the minor leagues where they want to try to fight for, and some other things as well. So we'll see how the players union and Major League Baseball figure that out. But Tyler, Buster Posey. Oh, to your point too with the draft, the same players, the same team stinking. I think those teams you mentioned were like the Pirates, right? They're still bad. The Orioles,
Rays, Pirates, Royals, Orioles.
but besides the Rays, really no other team there is. They're still kind of struggling there. Besides the Royals for that little stretch there, the Pirates.
Who's the Beckham on the White Sox now?
That's Tim Beckham.
Oh, that's the guy who's got drafted first overall.
Tim Beckham Jr. Yeah, is that him? The same guy?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's
good.
I didn't know he got traded from the Rays to the White.
Yeah, I knew Tim Beckham was drafted by the Rays. I just didn't know how he got to the White Sox.
This is an early prediction, but I'm taking the Mariners to win the World Series next year.
They haven't made the playoffs in 21 years, but we're
See, and I feel like other teams did go for it that normally don't go for it, like the Mariners and like the A's.
I'm serious though when I said the Mariners. I think they're gonna win it all next year.
Well, you look at the A's; they're just they're not even trying to be competitive. Like those are like. I mean, I guess it's not.
They have been the last couple years.
Yeah, they have been, but they always have these.
But they're not going to be this year.
No, they are not. They're not. It's going to be a long year this year. Tickets will be more expensive though somehow.
No more Bob. Thank God.
All right, guys, that's all I got. No, but what about Bob? You like the movie? What about Bob?
No, hold on. What? You don't like Bob Melvin?
He ran his course. That's 13 years is enough. We've seen this. He can't do any more. It's not his fault. It's just the cards you dealt.
Why don't you guys get rid of Bean?
He has more high. How can that? He has the ownership loves him. They're not getting rid of Bean. I mean, a movie about him. They're not just.
That might be a whole nother podcast, Tyler.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, we need to have an A's guest on, like a real A's guy, to help us out with that one. I think that goes deper. He owns part of the team now. He's like their franchise, basically. He likes that. That's why they're not as good either. I don't know what you guys got. Anything else for the week? Anything else you want to bring up? No. Yeah. All right.
Did you watch the Max Holloway fight?
I did not watch.
You're a big Max fan. He's a warrior.
Stands up and throws jabs.
His face is like beaten sideways, and he's still coming forward.
How many times do you think he's broken?
I don't know, a lot.
I think it breaks like just by probably him blowing his nose now. Right? It just breaks it on like
it's just soft tissue in there. There's no bone.
Yeah. Oh, have you ever broken your nose?
No.
Yeah, I haven't either. You have broke your arm. That's it, right?
Tyler broke his wrist playing goalie.
Wrist. That's what it was. No arm. It wasn't your arm, just the wrist.
It's because Hunter Holton Trippy played football before the game.
It is spectacular.
Hunter Holton. That's funny. So Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast. Check us out every Sunday morning. Be sure to check out some of our other guys. Tyler, you're going to be doing a Thursday thing, co-hosting with P. Shark of Let's Be Real podcast. Let's Be Real Media.
Yeah, on Twitter Spaces.
I can never figure out how to get in.
Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. So tune in. It
was actually a really good conversation. Like I said, I was trying to get on. I don't think anybody, people might not care about a 6-foot guys coverage point of view. But I was trying to get into talk. You guys had good points I wanted to get on with, but my microphone, I could not figure out. I love Tyler at the beginning. I'm logging on and he's talking. And he goes, yeah, me and Darren aren't very good with technology. I'm like, yo, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm like just yelling at it. Like,
we're so bad.
I'm like, I don't know. I think we've tried to figure out the request button, so that was a nightmare for me. I was frustrated as heck, but in the meantime, I was listening to their conversations. They had a lot of good points. That guy Mike Patton, he was very interesting. He's lived a little bit. You can definitely tell that. So he was tuned to his podcast as well. Yeah, and all the other guys as well, huh?
Yeah, being a white dude from California, I learned a few things. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, it was really interesting. I thought you did a good job too, as well, asking some good questions there and pointing out a few things as well. So, check. Was it Thursdays? You said at 8 o'clock, right? Our time.
Yeah, so. Thursdays 8 California time, 10 o'clock Central time.
And also be sure to check out our guys at I Don't Know Sports Savage over there. Let's Be Real, like we mentioned, and the House of Hoops. I always listen to them as well. Tyler, you start listening to any other podcasts from anybody else? I know
I've been listening to his name's DA, is like Damian Adams, the real DA, I think it's called. I don't know what it's called off the top of my head. He does a podcast by himself.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like local guys like us that, just kind of do these little podcasts, and we didn't get it too much at the beginning, but that's part of the reason we've been, we do these podcasts is kind of just learn about different parts of the United States here, different, talk sports with people. So I think it's really cool you set that up for Thursday night for you guys to do that. And it's kind of a good forum just to kind of have a conversation about sports. And it's good Thursday night football's that night. It kind of eases it.
Yeah, we like the whole fourth quarter, we talked through it. And
yeah, Casey, you should try to jump in one of these times too. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
It's called The Real Deal with DA is the podcast I'm listening
to. Yeah, so check that one as well. All right, so yeah, enjoy the rest of the weekend, guys. We'll be back. We might do the Monday night one, I think, or maybe tonight. We've kind of talked about it, so we'll see. Or off the rails. Big win tonight. Big win tonight. Hopefully, that's what we're going for, gentlemen. We're going big win. Fantasy football. I'm on a 6-game win streak, but it's not looking good this week. I got Chubb out, so we'll see what happens there. That's the big story of the week, even though nobody cares at all about it. So, and we got men's basketball back. I'm enjoying that as well. I watched UCLA Villanova. I forgot to shout that game out as well. That was a good game too.
I was looking at Arizona's lineup. It's like the United Nations out there.
Sean Miller's he can't recruit legally in the United States. You take it overseas.
He's gone. It's a Gonzaga assistant.
The program is okay. The program, that's right.
And we'll have to do a farewell tour to Coach K last year in the NCAA.
Do you guys think Coach K should have just retired like Roy Williams? Do you think do you think he's soaking it up, or is he too famous to where everybody has to like kiss his feet for a little bit longer?
I mean, I think he should have done it, but he should have done it after the year he wants to retire. If he wants to coach another year, then coach another year. But
yeah, he'll be getting the uniform. Every place he goes, he'll have so many gifts now. He can sell them for auctions all the time. So, all right, gentlemen, good podcast. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.
Javi, congrats on the hat trick.
Yeah, good job, Javi.
Love you, buddy. See you guys.